Emmerdale spoilers for next week have confirmed huge twists and big decisions, sad hints at what's ahead, and the final goodbye of a tragic character on the ITV soap. There's big moments ahead on Emmerdale next week, with spoilers teasing sad scenes, twists, and unexpected news. There's some potentially life-altering news from one village resident, Charity Dingle, as she makes a decision that could impact her and others. The funeral of murdered Nate Robinson arrives, and the scenes lead to the comeback of a past character. After years off-screen, Robert Sugden is left unnerved by a familiar face, leading to a discovery by someone else. John Sugden is playing the hero again too, while Paddy Kirk must face his fears amid a worrying scene involving his AWOL father Bear. Back to John, and he makes a decision that could expose him, while Lewis Barton is a success at the cafe and Nicola King is blindsided by something. Let's kick things off with Charity's big announcement. The news could cause havoc for her relationship with her husband Mackenzie Boyd, while it could also impact her family as a whole. Her granddaughter Sarah Sugden is desperate to find a surrogate to carry a child for her, after her devastating health news recently. After undergoing an operation, after being diagnosed with cervical cancer, a complication meant doctors had to perform a hysterectomy. Sarah is now unable to carry a child in the future, with her family keen to help find her a surrogate. Charity asks Sarah's Aunt Victoria Sugden if she'll consider being a surrogate next week, leaving her overwhelmed. Offering her a proposition, she tries to guilt-trip her into saying yes by telling her she's Sarah's only hope. But Robert Sugden is horrified by this when his sister tells him all, and when Sarah finds out she's mortified and fumes at her gran. As Charity and Kane try to keep surrogacy options open, Sarah prepares to give up her hopes of becoming a mum only for a possibly life-changing decision by Charity. She impulsively offers to be Sarah's surrogate, leaving Kane furious, already devastated to learn he's been scammed by a potential surrogate from an agency. Kane raises his concerns about the fact she hasn't even discussed it with her husband Mac. Sarah's uncomfortable when she realizes that Charity still hasn't told Mac about her plans. But will he find out, and how will he react? There's more drama for the Dingles when Kane's son Nate Robinson's funeral gets underway. The character was murdered months ago, and his body was dumped on a lake, while only fans know John is the killer. Nate's funeral brings the return of his grieving mother Cara, who wastes no time in slamming Kane for what's happened. With Kane and Nate's wife Tracy still blaming each other for his death, John is worried about the truth coming to light, especially as his husband Aaron Dingle, Nate's cousin, is determined to attend. Aaron and John try to unban the Dingles from the funeral, but Tracy won't budge. Soon there's a discovery as Tracy learns she's entitled to Nate's life insurance, and ahead of the funeral getting underway the following day, the Dingles hold a memorial in the pub. Kane's back to fuming at Tracy though, claiming she's robbed him of a proper goodbye only for Cara to walk in and confront him. As news about the insurance policy comes to light, Kane explodes at his daughter-in-law and refuses to stay away from his son's funeral. When D.S. Walsh arrives at the church on the day of Nate's farewell, Tracy is unnerved and soon the Dingles show up. An argument ensues, but no one detects John's nerves as he clocks the detective. Watching the chaos unfold and knowing it's his fault, he gets emotional and appeals for a truce, only to find himself being asked to read the eulogy of his own victim. As the pressure gets to him and he remembers what is done, will he end up confessing all? Later in the week he's reaching out to a helpline again, but could this backfire? Someone is onto him, as his brother Robert lets it be known he doesn't trust him at all. When the date, Owen, who spiked him recently, shows up at the surgery, Robert is stunned to see John throwing him out and thanks him. But later in the week Liam Kavanagh realizes Owen is on his list of call-outs. Also next week, Lewis proves to be a hit at the cafe with a new menu, but Nicola is furious knowing Brenda is still reaping the benefits, despite leaving for her cruise months ago. But she's soon left blindsided. So what has she uncovered? We also see Bear again next week, after he fled the village amid some odd behavior. Ahead of the show revealing what's going on with him, we see the character in a random field and it's clear he can't feel as though he can reach out to his son Paddy. Speaking of Paddy, is still struggling after being attacked by a dog. Paddy calls in sick at the vet, too scared to treat the dog's chip. Finally next week, Jacob lets some news slip, but who is it to and what?